Hey, Gloucester Township. I'm Joe Allen. It's Keith Gibbons.
Keith Gibbons.
Intro screwed up.
Again.
Every time.
we were just laughing as Joe said, every time we go about to start. It's filled with all this rage because nothing's working right. And then all of a sudden, we have to put on a smiley face for everybody.
Down here about a half hour before Keith arrives, get everything set up. And then everything except, like, there are notes in front of each one of us on laptops, and just a simple open a document, just locked up over and over again.
Yeah,
and it's just
this is our dedication to you guys. Make sure we get this out to you. So, anyway, we are recapping. What is it? August 11th council meeting. But since then, we had some local things hit the national news. Right. What was that, Joe?
Yeah, you got family members calling up saying, I heard that crime is really bad in your area.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's kinda. Like, you know, you're not going to get beat up if you walk down the street, but you might come back to your house and you find your car's missing. Or
it's also not. I've heard a lot of people.
It's not safe at fairs here, but yeah. So this has been all over the news. People were sharing it everywhere. Some of the big mayor supporters were blasting it all over social media, and they're going, look at this amazing thing the mayor did. And nobody's out there congratulating him for it because you guys were just haters. And it's like, well, I don't know. There's two really good sides to this thing. One, there were parents that were like dropping kids off dressed like ninjas in June, you know?
Right.
It's like 90 degrees out, and the kids all suited up and everything, and you're dropping them off with a bunch of other kids all suited up. You should probably ask some questions, you know? So, yeah, parents, but then also, you know, people look at it. Great example you gave a long time ago was, hey, what if the grandmother now has custody of several of her grandkids, and, you know, you're going to put her in jail now? And what happens to the other grandkids? They're going to go
and there's a lot of sides to this whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's no perfect side, and it's also something that they have stated that it's not going to be immediately enforced. You have to be a repeat offender and all that, so it's up to interpretation of whoever the judicial, branch at that. I guess it's our judge here, but either way, it's something that's interpreted. Like, that could happen. I had a couple people. Well, one person specifically, said to me, I don't know that's even, like, how are you going to jail one person for crimes of another person? How is that even possible? But I don't know how parenting versus, it's you're responsible for the child. If they break your window, break somebody's neighbor's window or something.
Before they're 18, you're responsible for them. I saw a guy absolutely losing it on Pine Hill Chat, like, yesterday, saying how ridiculous it was that Gloucester Township was doing this. And basically saying, like, look, I can't control my kids. They just do whatever they want to do. Like, you're going to put me in jail because I can't control my kids? It was like, it's a good idea, actually, sir. Yeah, I think that is a pretty good idea. But, yeah, I think, look, as long as it brings the accountability closer together and everybody starts being accountable. Because, I mean, your kid's not going to learn if you're just going to jail and he's just a bad kid and he didn't like you to begin with. So,
there's arguments on both sides there that make sense, and it's a tough one to.
I like the fact that we're trying to do something rather than just tucking our tail between our legs and saying, you know what, we're not going to do any more festivals. Yeah, we're going to stay in our houses. Yeah. So I do like it.
The one side of the argument does say, if you didn't restrict us from being able to, punish our kids or have the law be able to. Do things to the children
at the top level.
We wouldn't need to then jail the parents. We should be able to, how about you just pull back some of the rules that you have already in place to restrict punishment of the kids who are
all the way up to the AG. That's basically kind of taken a lot away from our police. So that's it does.
It's true.
We do have a lot of problems here in Gloucester Township that we face that are really state problems too.
That is true. But anyway,
if you hated it and you're like, I can't believe they did this, what were they thinking? It was talked about so many times over the last several months, and especially in the last several podcasts, we've talked about it. There was basically like a first reading and then a public hearing for it.
Yeah.
Nobody Nobody spoke on this, like, at all.
Well, that actually is a good segue into some kudos. I think that
42
we got.
Freeway, right?
Yeah, 42 Freeway guy. we know him as Mark. People call him 42 Freeway guy.
Yeah.
He had a quick video basically blasting Washington Township, saying, like, you guys come to the table way too late. All you do is you complain about, things, but you're not going and seeing what's on the agenda. There's a group of people, and he's referring to, this little group here that puts together these podcasts and informs the public. We go every single agenda, go through it, see what's in there, inform the public in a way that's like, hey, this is happening. If you want to step up and get involved, step up and get involved. Most of the time, people don't. Like, to your point, this one here, this didn't fall out of the sky and then just pop out there. It's been a discussion for a while. And you weren't in the discussion. There was a guy that just posted. You had pulled up the thing, like a post that we had from like 3 years ago or something. The guy's like,
it was 3 years ago.
Stop the building. And you're like, dude, that was 3 years ago. And even at that point of posting,
it was the golf course thing. Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
It's like, this has to stop. And I saw the comment. And I'm like,
far in the sand?
Wait. And I'm thinking like somebody else wrote an article. And
right.
I'm like, what's golf? They're building on the golf course again. And I looked at the article. It was like 2022.
Yeah.
So. National Night Out. I completely missed it. I was stuck out. I never got a chance to come back into the area, so I missed it completely.
Yeah, it was a good night. I started off at State Street Park with the rest of the United for Change team. Got that all started up. Went over to Ariel Firehouse. Had some good conversations with some firemen over there, and that was about the extent of where I got to. I know a lot of other people had some really good night outs. I learned of one that was, man, I got to get to next year. They have all kinds of barbecue out, and it's over off of, where the lake is down by Blackwood Lake. There's the caboose there. Apparently there's like a house on the street over there, and I did see like a tent set up outside of the person's house, and they said that's like a great one to go to. I'm like, really? I would never imagine in front of somebody's house. But, these happen all over the place. Everybody, just uses that night to put together their, their little celebrations. And, it was a good time. The firehouse up the street from you over here.
Ariel, I saw, Yeah,
they had a car cutting apart ceremony. Mr. Softy was there. And, it's a good night.
Huh.
Yeah. But
so, this week...
wait, before we get started, I just want to put my disclosure up here, just to make sure that I do get it. That my opinion are all my own and not representative of anybody else on the Gloucester Township Board of Education. Might as well throw Joe's up.
Yeah.
Where's Joe's?
It's gone. Yep.
His opinions are his own.
They're my own. Nobody else's.
So, anyway, let's get into the August 11th.
August 11th. Council meeting.
And it started off with going into closed session here.
We have a resolution to go to closed session to discuss the aftermath of a settlement agreement that we have for a redevelopment area.
Yeah, so that, why didn't that kick back?
Yep. I didn't start that.
There we go.
There we go.
The, technical difficulties. Our producer,
he spent too much time at the bar. He's over there.
Aftermath that they're talking about has to do with that warehouse property that was an overlay through the new vision redevelopment plan that everybody forgot that it even was zoned as that. We ended up getting sued because we wrote an ordinance saying no more warehouses. That owner of that property basically, came to a settlement agreement with us, and there was we gave them a lot, basically. A lot.
This was the warehouse next to or behind Target.
Yeah, we've talked about it several times on here. But
it was the one. It was basically the thing that kicked off like the no warehouse movement in this area.
Right. Everyone was rallying against no warehouses when literally that was the zoning of that property.
It was.
And all the houses that were built around there were only built because they were approved to be built, but that was forgotten about as that was there.
So anyway. In the meantime, while they were changing some stuff up on there, council went and changed the requirements for that area, making it no longer able to put a warehouse there, and so then they basically sued.
Right. And then by suing that, I believe this was like I forget the exact number, but I think it was like 5 properties that we gave them to allow to townhomes in addition to that. There was another piece of property which we'll get into here. Actually, I don't know that I have the clip.
Did we change zoning for those other, like the townhomes?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay.
I've been so busy with stuff, Joe. I didn't get to.
Yeah, I never.
Give the amount
unusual
of attention
situation.
that this deserves.
Yeah, because you last minute did the clips because I was so wrapped up with work and everything else.
Yeah.
That I didn't do the clips this time. So.
But we did come out of executive session, and then we went to public comments of agenda items only, and we have this here.
I just wanted to give my kudos and my support and advocacy for the grant for the Marshall House. I'm familiar with that property a lot more now than I was a couple months ago. And going through the master plan re-examination and the open space recreational plan, the preservation of that property has a lot of boxes checked off in both of those documents. Just real quick, I mean, this is not all of them, but on page 53, for example, this township planner has identified the north and south branches of Big Timber Creek as major green corridor areas to be preserved and opened up for recreational use. I think all council members are aware that the Marshall House is on 27 acres that borders Big Timber Creek, and that's an amazing piece of property. And to be able to open that up for recreational use, maybe community gardens, preserving a house that goes back to the 1700s is certainly a feather in the hat to the township.
Yeah, it's amazing that property hasn't been touched. We've gone over that. You and I were out. He's just learning about this here. You and I were out there a couple of years ago doing the the video showing the house that's just kind of what we called demolition by neglect. They just kind of hide it off, and it just sits there.
Yeah,
there's some activity around it now.
A lot of people that have expressed interest in bringing that back. It was just kind of just like one person that just didn't want to bring it back. So
allegedly,
I've heard that by more than one person.
Yeah, allegedly. But yeah, there was a grant for it, so it's moving along, which I think is pretty good news. We won't be that neighbor over in Glen Oaks. That's just a nuisance for 15 years over there as a abandoned house.
Yeah,
the public's abandoned house is looks like it might get some.
And
attention.
You know what? Too, I don't know. Just a kudos to him for what Brian does because.
Oh yeah.
There was a proposal came in about a warehouse, basically at the end of my street. Not like at the end of my street, but like I live on a court, so behind the court there's woods there, and then like in those woods it was like proposal for like 4 warehouses.
Yeah,
that's what the proposal said, and it was kind of odd because they seem like small warehouses. So we decided to go. I went to the meeting, the planning board meeting. It was my first planning board meeting I've ever gone to.
Oh, really?
And a bunch of people in the area must have saw it on Facebook, thanks to people like Brian and Nancy and stuff to share it out. So I went, and then 2 neighbors showed up. They went also, and Brian did his thing. He handed out packets to everybody and talked about the endangered species that's back there, and that the fact that there's a creek back there that nobody knew about. And the neighbor was like, "This guy really knows what he's doing here." I'm like, yeah, that's his thing, man. So Brian impressed a lot of people that night that had never met him before too. So just can't thank him enough for what he does.
He's a great guy. I've gone with him out to see different things, and he definitely is passionate about it, and he does his research, and he's doing it to help preserve the land, not for any kind of personal gain for himself. It's just this is the right thing to do, and he's doing
all the people that constantly talk about the overbuilding.
Yeah, Brian's your guy. He's
Brian,
out there.
Brian's your guy that's up there representing you, and that's
you should join him. Give him a hand.
I think he would absolutely love that because he was even at the planning board meeting. Probably, I think 10 other people probably showed up for it, and I think he was a little bit discouraged because he's like, look, people complain about this stuff, and here we are.
Well, it's easy to complain. It's not easy to do something about it.
Yeah, but all you have to do is go and ask questions sometimes, and you might get answers. Like I got answers to find out that not quite 4 warehouses. It's 4 buildings that are going to be storage. It's like total 40,000 square foot, which is still, I mean, they're not going to be towering warehouses, but, you know, it is still protected land, which I think a lot of people were like, they looked at it and they thought, oh, okay, it's not going to be, that's fine. It's not going to be massive warehouses. But then you take into account that like there is a reason.
Yeah, there's an impact to it.
Certain kind of land. So,
all right. So, in other land topics here, there was this I believe had to do with the executive session or the closed session. What they call it earlier here.
Resolution 2508-307 directs a taxpayer-funded study to decide if Block 18302, Lot 5, should be declared in need of redevelopment. But this lot was just purchased last year by a developer for $775,000. It already has a home on it, and it's in a healthy neighborhood. There's nothing blighted about it, which makes this study a waste of public funds. The settlement agreement essentially guarantees the outcome before the planning board even starts its work. So what's the point of doing a redevelopment study on prime real estate when the result is already predetermined? Resolution 2508-308 sends amendments to the New Vision redevelopment area plan to the planning board. The linked ordinance 02521 includes bulk standards far less restrictive than what's required elsewhere in the township. Approving reduced standards here sets a precedent for other redevelopers and developers to use to demand similar treatment, eroding zoning protections.
Yeah.
Those are the same protections this council defended at the last redevelopment entity meeting in July, yet a month later, you're prepared to give the same reduced standards to this developer. I wonder if you've weighed the true cost of these concessions to the taxpayers versus the cost of going to court and paying the settlement. If a pilot is awarded for Block 18302, Lot 5, the developer's school tax obligation will be drastically reduced or eliminated, yet taxpayers will still bear the full cost of educating any children from this development. That burden will last as long as the pilot does. The residents deserve to know before you vote whether a pilot is part of this agreement. I believe the cost to educate one child per year is roughly $16,000. So if there's approximately 200 kids in this development, that means there's $3,200,000 per year to send those kids to school. The lawsuit stems from a failure of oversight by this council acting as the redevelopment entity, in my opinion. I'm asking you not to repeat that mistake tonight by pushing through major redevelopment actions without full public discussion. Those resolutions should be removed from the consent agenda and discussed openly in public. If you approve these resolutions tonight, let the record show you were warned and you chose to repeat the same mistake that brought you here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep. Well, she's not wrong, in my opinion, either.
Do they have a choice, though?
Yeah, you can be sued over it. Her point of that was, did you really weigh the options of saying we should just take the lawsuit, sue this guy wants to sue us for $6 million or whatever it is, and pay the fine, the lawsuit, or give in to his concessions of we need all this other stuff, which is going to result in all these homes being built, which will result in setting a precedent for other builders to go back and point to say, hey, you gave that to him. Why can't we get zero setbacks and all this other things that you're going to change to help satisfy this guy to not sue you? When she's pointing out it's $3 million a year in 2 years, it would pay for itself. But not to mention the fact that you're getting tax abatements to them and all that stuff, and then having the outcome of it is They might not have weighed that. I guarantee you, though, they weighed the political side of it, because one side of it, you're admitting a guilt basically by paying the lawsuit,
by just paying
and
it
they
off.
won't. One thing narcissists don't do is admit guilt. I'm sure they're not going to admit guilt, especially in a political aspect of So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, settlement is still guilt.
It is, but it's a way you can hide that and be like. Because they're hiding behind closed doors to have that discussion. So The only people that really know that are people who pay attention. People literally don't even know that there's, an election this year, let alone that, there was a settlement deal or what that even means.
There's so much that people don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah. We're trying to help. We're trying to help educate people here.
You almost kind of think, like, dare you say that the warehouse probably just would have been better?
I know what you're trying to say and what you're saying with it, but
I like to look at everything from both sides, regardless of what people think. All of our opinions are from looking at both sides of things and trying to figure out, how to weigh it out. To me, that's a really good retail area. It sucks as a warehouse area. It's also not great as housing too. So I don't know. But a really strong master plan takes care of that, and sticking to your master plan.
If we have a master plan, we don't stick to it, and you're able to get away with by having it's a whole thing. You guys have heard us talk about this over and over again. All right, so the response to Denise here.
I'm going to defer to Mr. Carlemaire and Mr. Assalta, who's our legal counsel, on what I can and cannot say, because we were in closed session.
So basically, going to say that
Mr. Carlemaire.
Well, procedurally,
we're talking about the procedure of it.
Forward with the ordinance on first reading 02521 tonight, but part of that, before you can go to a second reading, that request has to be analyzed and reviewed by the planning board before council can finally adopt any ordinance amendment change. And as it relates to our litigation settlement, I guess
Mr. Norcross, attorney here,
can really respond to that.
From the Brown.
My name is Mark Celta. I'm an attorney with the Brown and Connery law firm, and I've represented the township in the litigation. I've been part of the settlement agreement drafting. I did want to comment. I think one of the comments was that why take this action? It's a done deal.
It is.
It's not a done deal because specifically, and this is public record, the settlement agreement says if permitted by law. So, for instance, if that zone was determined not to meet statutory criteria, there's no obligation for the planning board or the township more properly to designate it as such. I think as Mr. Carlemaire said, I had the same note. There's no binding action being taken by the council tonight. They're referring these various actions to the planning board, at which time there will be full hearings and the public will be able to provide input on these very issues.
They love always stating that, like, the only thing that we're doing here is just this, and then it's also it needs to go over there, and then they point the finger that's where the blame's going to shift. And then once you get there, they're like, no, actually the blame shifts over here, and then the blame shifts over there. Tonight all we're doing is this. No crap that's all you're doing, but we know that what the next outcome is going to be, and then the next outcome of where it's all going. And it's really infuriating to sit there and watch them gaslight you and be like, no, it's not happening. The only thing we're doing is this. Yeah, which is the first step to get to your next step. We understand you're following the process.
It's what we went through at the planning board meeting. It's like, look, we're not approving these things right here.
Right.
We're just approving that this goes over here to be talked about more.
No one's to blame. No one is to blame.
And then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, all right, so will we all say fine with this? But then somehow next thing we know, they start building, right? Yeah. And then we're like, what happened?
All right. So anyway, we get past the ego section because there were none sent in, and we did get an update on the green team from Dave Leader.
Oh man!
Update for the green team. I'm trying to join. I've heard that it's a Democratic club. This is just gossip. That only the mayor appoints people on the green team who are his part of his entourage. Don't know if that's true. It's sad to hear that. I'm used to volunteerism. I always volunteered on MLK Day when I was healthy. Got the T-shirt. And I volunteered with the historic team several times and tried to volunteer for the green team. Mr. Castro has not called me back since I left a message at the mayor's office
He means
a month
Mr.
ago.
Cruz.
I don't know
okay.
the reason why a public volunteer who's willing to give up their time and expertise is not been accepted for this activity since last January.
Since last January, just stonewall the guy. I mean, I can answer the question, what my opinion of that is, but
Yeah, I kind of just came across. I just shared this thought with somebody else too. So, I
sure, what's me?
came across somebody, and they said there was a piece that was kind of shared out about 2 weeks ago about the Economic Development Committee and some bad things said about it. And I said, well, look, and they said, well, we're doing great things for this township. We've done a lot of stuff, and they used the bank building as an example. And I was like,
The Black Hole Theater?
the Black Hole Theater, yeah. And I stopped, and I was like, that's not a good example as far as I'm concerned. But the thought and how the conversation went, I said, look, it's people in this township don't like these little closed groups that they can't get into, and it's all hidden, right? Nobody can Oprah what's going on there and find out what's going on inside. It's this closed group, and it seems shady. And maybe it's not shady because this person was very passionate about what they're doing in that committee. And I said, but I guarantee you some people that I know wouldn't be allowed to join that.
100%.
And they thought they said, actually, we have an opening. We have an opening right now. So there's definitely an opening right now. And I figured, well, I was like, well, look, I'm sure that there's several people that I know that probably have asked to join this before. I think Sam asked to join it before, and I don't think he was allowed to join it. But right now, there's an opening on the Economic Development Committee, and if you want to join it, it is open. I would love to hear what the feedback is. If you are, you should just be able to walk in the door and say, I'd like to join it, and they say, you're in.
Well, there isn't an actual door to walk in as part of the problem, though, right? It's just a group that uses our public buildings to hold meetings, and we pay for meeting minutes to be taken, I believe. There was something that the public was paying for at some point in time, but it's all not Oprahable. It's not subject to to any Oprah stuff. So we have no idea what they do. So to your point, it's a club that you're not. What was that? George Carlin? Was that his thing?
It's a big club and you ain't in it.
Yeah, it's a big club and you ain't in it.
So I mean, look, my guess is that if you went to that, if you went into one of those meetings, everyone in there is registered Democrat. And if anybody from, even an independent voter, but I'll say like anybody from, say, like the Republican committee just said, hey, I'd like to be a part of that, I don't think that you'd be allowed. They could prove me wrong. I'm just saying that's what it feels like. That's what, and that's kind of what Dave has heard about the Green Team. So
yeah, when the NPP program came about, and there were calls, that they had to do in order to get the grant, where like I forget who it was, TNM or somebody was like holding those calls. We got on those calls, expressed interest in joining, and somehow they're full. Sorry, we're full. Well, how many members do you have? Enough. Like there's no number. Yeah, there's no set number, but we're full. So you're not allowing specific people to join, and then you learn later on after you already threw your hand up and say I'll be on that committee. Other people were added to it, and then people who never even show up are just added to it. And the council president needs to be on. Why are it's this very select group of people. It's a big club, and you're not in it. And
60,000 people in here.
Yep.
And it really depends on if you're in this little group of people that are
loyal.
That are loyal and have all the same ways of thinking.
But anyway, let's go into Dave has opinions about the audio
equipment.
Another
question is, has this year's budget included looking for an upgrade for this equipment? This equipment is very old, I'm told, and that might be part of the root cause of the failure. When I worked in IT, I had customers who said that if you find the root cause, you need to install an irreversible solution. I worked on that my whole career. I'd like to see the same energy for your audio and visual system.
It doesn't. It only happens every now and then, but it seems to be intentional.
There were no microphones.
Glitches happen. I understand that from doing this thing here.
Absolutely.
But which part I didn't clip was the response back, and they're like, "Yeah, we got new equipment. That microphone out there that the public uses is brand new." And you're like, "Oh, wow." So you bought a $100 microphone? Awesome.
So
great.
Planning board meeting, by the way. No audio at all. No microphones working at all.
Yeah.
And we were like, everybody's in the crowd going, "We can't hear you." And they go, "Everybody come up front." So we all sat in the front rows. And then we still couldn't hear them.
Yeah.
And then sit at the table right in front. So then most of the people at the table, I just kind of hung over one of the chairs. I could hear.
Just sit up on the dais, I guess.
Yeah, I could hear, but it was like, I said, "Hey, is this being recorded?" And they're going, "Oh, yeah, 100% is recorded."
What microphone?
We just need to make sure it's recorded because the microphone's not working. And then Mary Jo is the clerk for that.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Yeah, it just says the volume levels are really low." And then I guess it's the lawyer that's there.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Look, there's nothing we can do. We're not IT." It's like, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, all right.
Well, actually, that was one of the things that Dave said. You need to have somebody from IT here. And during a council meeting, Cardis is there. He said no. He seems to be the one that goes and pushes buttons and does stuff. He also has Nancy, who knows what she's doing a little with the recording thing. So I think they're maybe a little more tech savvy, we'll call it, versus whatever the planning board is alleging that they're not able to do or not IT. But anyway,
look, I would go and sit if I were at the meetings and they said, "We'll take volunteers."
Oh no, you're not.
Right?
You're not allowed.
I'm a system engineer, a cloud engineer. I've been doing this for 25 years. I'll sit there. If you got an issue, I'll come up and fix it for you. It's free. Right? I'd never be allowed.
Nope.
Dave, I didn't know Dave was in IT. Dave's done everything, I think.
Yeah.
Dave was in IT. Dave should be here right now setting this up before we get here.
Yeah. All right. Well, he has another question, too.
Why is it the council can initiate a dialogue with the public, but the public can't initiate a dialogue with the council? This has happened in each of the last two meetings, where council questioned back to the public, and we're accepting shouted answers from the public. You can't have it both ways, can you? Well, yeah, you're in charge. You make the rules. You treat us the way you want to treat us, and you treat yourselves the way you want to treat yourselves. If you want to shout out to the public for clarification, you can. If the public wants to shout out for clarification, they get admonished. You have it both ways. You're in complete control. Why is it that the public can't have an open dialogue with council, but council can have an open dialogue with the public?
You said it, Dave. They believe they're in control. They believe we answer to them, not that they work for us, that they represent us.
And they can, because you know what?
Yeah.
No matter what they've done, they haven't been punished at the ballot box.
Nope. They need to be punished at the ballot box.
It goes back to the responsibility that we talked to in the beginning of the show. There has been no punishment for what they've done, and that punishment comes in on Election Day. And they have not been punished, so they don't have to worry about those things.
You're using the word punishment, but is it really? I mean, it's a weird term to use when you're saying that.
Yeah, there's look,
accountability, right? There should be accountability for their actions, which I guess is the same as. Look, either way, whatever. It's.
Think about it. It's. There's 7 people on council and a mayor. If they do something that really irritates people, they can either on election day lose the mayor and 3 council seats, or in a different election day 4 council seats. That's a wake-up call to say,
oh, we should have
listened to those
people. The people are actually in
charge. That's the
charge.
punishment that they get, and they go, wow, we better change the way we're doing things because that hurt.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, this next clip is a long one, but an important one. Well, they're all important clips here. Is this the next clip?
Dave, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was getting mixed up. All right, so this let's just play it here. Why am I talking?
I am making this statement for the
Why
record.
is it that
What?
Huh?
Did I do wrong?
Oh, I thought we were going to Dave. Okay.
No, we did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got mixed up too.
I am making this statement for the record because meaningful discussion is no longer permitted at council meetings, and the council president has the last word, even when it's not accurate. I want the
Even when
minutes
it's
to
not
reflect
accurate.
actual facts about the July 14th appointment of Mr. Castro because the public deserves nothing less. For Mr. Castro's appointment, based on public record, there was no public notice of a vacancy or appointment was issued for the July 14th, 2025 meeting. No appointment resolution appeared on the agenda. No appointment resolution was read into the record, motioned, or adopted. While a public nomination and vote occurred, the crucial step, a formal appointment resolution, was absent. New Jersey SA 40A:16-11 requires appointments be made by resolution adopted at a meeting. By contrast, the May 22nd, 2023 appointment of Tara Walters followed these steps. There was public notice in the Courier Post on May 12th and a cancellation notice on May 18th for the related meeting. The agenda, R23:05-121 for the executive session and R23:05-133 for the appointment, were both listed on the agenda. The appointment resolution was read, motioned, and voted on in public. Statement that these two processes were the same are incorrect. I provided a side-by-side chart documenting these facts and asked that they be included in the minutes so the records reflect the truth. Given these discrepancies, I request that council either fix the deficit by properly noticing and adopting an appointment resolution in public, or explain on the record the legal authority relied upon to treat a nomination vote as a lawful appointment under NJSA 40A-16-11. Thank you.
Ms. Coyne came up and provided a handout that was passed out by Ms. Nancy.
I like how he does his own recap
And,
podcast, in between. Like,
Ms.
we know
Coyne
that.
had provided a side-by-side regarding the appointment of Mr. Castro. When we we have a closed session that is on the agenda at each meeting, and we utilize that resolution to go into closed session. In addition to that, please don't shout out. In addition to that, when we came out from closed session, and I said that there was a nomination, and that nomination was made by Mr. Mignon. That followed. The resolution was not mentioned, but there was a resolution for that. That was the act to appoint Mr. Castro. I don't understand, and I don't have a prepared statement, and I probably don't have anything good in response to the questioning of Mr. Castro's appointment. But Mr. Castro has served this country, is serving our community, and he was rightfully appointed. And Mr. Castro, I continue to look forward to working with you. I don't understand why certain residents continue to question the appointments of anybody that's on here. We do everything out in the open. Nothing is predetermined. It was here. They was nominated. He was properly sworn in. And Mr. Castro is continue to serve as a council person. If you have any more issues with this, Ms. Coyne, go with it where you need to go with it. Okay?
Where do you go with it?
Well, ballot box, really. But when he said that at the very end, they're like, everything we do is out in the open. I wanted to pull one of your stunts and pull in like a clip of like somebody laughing like crazy, that clip there. I was like, I don't have time for that. but I always love hearing him praise somebody that's in office, serving their the public. And when I was listening to that clip for the second time, whatever, and as I was pulling it to cut it, I'm like, I wonder if he appreciates my public service, or does he not appreciate mine?
No,
but
no,
he will talk about his his fellow council members up there that they're
That's
He
still
appreciates
a.
that. What?
I'm trying to think about how many different of those scenarios we've gone through. Like I was just thinking about like. Trotto.
Well, there was the Scott Owens, right? Then there was Tracy Trotto. There was Carolyn Stubbs.
So Scott.
So I can count 4 that I since I've been paying attention.
Scott knew he was leaving, but basically,
when you count,
went from like closing on his house to like the papers were signed to going over and saying, "Hey, by the way, I'm done."
Right.
And rumor had it that he did it because he didn't want any repercussions from that. Now, Trotto, we had thought that maybe it had been like 2 months.
We learned that she moved before they said anything.
That she had been
kind of brought out,
Yeah, living in like Washington Township for like 2 months.
Yeah, I remember my daughter was the one that spotted her when we were over in Washington Township. She goes, "That was Tracy Trotto." Like at that time, she's like 12 years old. I'm like, yeah, she's catching her.
But then, so think about what was said here a couple weeks ago when Orlando said that Winters was debating on whether or not she was going to leave. He said
he kind of begged her to hold
just
on.
Give it a little bit of time, right?
Yeah.
So and you think back to like Trotto, and Trotto was probably like, "Hey guys, I'm leaving," and they're like,
"No, don't say nothing yet.
Hold on, we got to find somebody to replace you because
can you just come every other Tuesday."
Yeah, because God forbid you go to like a special election and you let the people decide who they want to represent.
We need to, yeah.
So, yeah, it's I mean, and to think like, what if what if she quit before the primary, and then Castro decided that he wanted to run in the primary for that position, and then maybe the other 2 people did too, but then maybe also like, I don't know, Sam Sweet decided he wanted to. Is there thought that, okay, we have 3 names that nobody knows, and then people know who Sam is? Like, are we vulnerable? So then they hold out, and they're like, just make it past the primary, and then ditch. And then we got this guy, we'll fill it in.
Right.
That's not out in the open. He said everything's out in the open. That's definitely not out in the open.
Right, that's why I want to cut that little clip and just have it as a thing sometime.
Yeah, like that's
a good one to go back to.
Definitely not out in the open.
We do everything out in the open. Yeah, except for all the stuff you're supposed to.
Yeah.
All right, so Denise's point of that whole thing there was kind of, breezed over by council, where she's saying, look, she just gave you, here's the side-by-sides. Her point was the council president, the way that it works now is he gets the final say, even if it's incorrect, which is her proof. It is incorrect, because last time you stated it was done exactly the same. Every time, we always do it the same. And that's not how it's done the same. His was done differently, but he thinks he's kind of trying to shift the blame to say, you hate the way that we did things. You hate these people, that people, or you hate all of us, whatever we do. No, she's calling out the process. Just like you guys like to point out, we're only voting on this tonight. That's all we're doing. But you don't follow the whole process the way you're supposed to. But yet you point to the process to hide what your intentions are with the end goal on certain things. And this one here, you were supposed to have a specific resolution to go into executive session for that particular item, not the blanket one that you have on there that you claimed. And then you also had to do all these other things. And she's saying, you didn't do any of that. Here's one that you did do with, and this is how you did it. And here's the side-by-side, and they don't match. So you lied last time or misled people or whatever you want to say. Last time you said, we do it exactly the same every single time. It's done just like it was with Walters. Walters? Yeah.
Walters, yeah.
So, she's saying, no, that's not true. So you don't get to say that the final word. And I always, when I re-listened to it again today, I wondered, will that actually make it into the minutes that she requested that? Like, is that a thing? Like, when they put a thing like a request like that in documents, will they actually put it into the minutes?
Oh, right.
Or does that have to be, like, allowed in by the council president?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, the process that he talks about that they follow, I'm sure when he's referring to the process is when someone resigns, you have 15 days that you go to the committee of that person. That person was a Democrat that left, so you go to the Democratic committee and you say, look, we need 3 candidates from the committee, and then within 15 days to present those candidates, and then the council will, of course, vote on one of them.
I thought it was 30.
What
are you saying, 30 total?
No, it's 15.
Are you sure?
Yeah, from the time somebody resigns, the committee that person belongs to has 15 days to present somebody for them.
To present, but not for council to vote on. Council has longer to...
Well, I believe council has till the next meeting to vote on that person.
Well, this time I know Denise was saying last time they had till the 30th, and the last meeting was on like the 29th or something. Either way, there's a process of,
But I'm sure that's when he says we follow the process.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the process that's outlined. It's outlined in the Faulkner Act.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, our last comment from the public was from Nancy Kelly, and she had 2 points here.
Black Box Theater. Trying to get an opening date on the website here. It says August 26th, 27th, 28th, with no exceptions. LD4 had a video out saying that it's early September for a grand opening. So I'm just looking for a clear-cut answer on when the grand opening is, unless it's a soft opening, the August 26th, 27th, 28th, like it says on the website. Is the public permitted to go to the grand opening? Is it invite only? And second portion, GT Perks. I keep hearing that GT Perks is out there, available. It has been implemented, but I called into, who did I speak to? Mary Jo Dentino, and said it is not put into effect. And as of now, we're looking at 2 to 3 weeks out. And right now we're still waiting on businesses. I asked what businesses. I was not told which businesses, so if you can tell me what businesses have been signed up, and when is GT Perks happening? Because I'm hearing that it is, and it's not, and I'm seeing literature out there that GT Perks is implemented. And implemented means that it's in effect. GT Perks is not in effect.
I believe there is an opening set for Friday, September 12th at 6 p.m.
Okay. So Friday, September 12th. And that is open to the general public?
I wasn't the one that put that out. I just saw it today.
Is that something you can find out for us?
Yes.
And GT Perks, I did see some literature for that. Can you give us an update on that, and we'll perhaps reach out to Mrs. Dentino? I know that Mrs. Gentili had reached out to her to indicate. I saw a brochure for it, and it's been talked about. But if the list of vendors and where we're at in the process of GT Perks, if you can give us an update, and also Ms. Gentili would appreciate it.
All right.
That was not something that I was familiar with.
What, GT Perks?
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with GT Perks.
Well, it was this idea. I recall Sam Sweet bringing this idea up years ago
like
to a council where
get credits in your taxes, like Washington Township does,
something along those lines. Yeah, but this was another business breakfast promise, just like the Michaels organization and the new police department and grow facilities, housing, and all that stuff that was going to happen at the Nike base. And also GT Perks, but it looks like both of those things are not really happening.
There's a web page for it.
They are? I don't know exactly how.
glowtwip.com/GT Perks takes you to a page, and it basically says that it is the GT Perks program to connect with Gloucester Township's veterans and seniors by offering exclusive deals. You choose the discounts or a special offer that works best for your business. So I guess it is for GT businesses to offer.
They can run on it saying it's coming. Here it is, guys. Look, coming. But yeah, I think her point is it's not really in effect, and you're out there putting literature out that the taxpayers are paying for. This literature going out to seniors and veterans saying it's there, but it's not actually there.
I bet it's been.
Maybe it's like we get it together, get the program together, and then put it out. versus putting literature out there that they admitted that they've seen literature around for it before it actually is in place. Let's get the program going.
Well, there's a lot of well, it is there are
politicians promise a lot.
There's
of
a
things.
ridiculous amount of I immediately started thinking back to like Paul Crew going up there talking about the development plan that they had that they and it was circulated somewhere, but it was like breweries and all kinds of stuff on like downtown Blackwood.
Oh yeah.
And I remember at the time that Paul said it, and he's been gone from Gloucester Township for a couple of years now.
Yeah, quite a few.
But I remember him saying, "Look, this was 15 years ago, and we haven't done anything to downtown Blackwood, but we did this big this big presentation on the amazing stuff we were going to do down there, and it's one of those like right before Election Day." We're going to do amazing stuff, which is the first thing I thought about when we had that Nike base thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was going to be shops and a grow facility, and I think it was going to be like solar power. Mm-hmm. And now we find out it's probably just going to be...
Right now, there's no deal at all from what I recall happening. And I could be off on this, but from what I recall, there was like a 90-day or some short period of time where we had... some sort of an agreement, and then it could be renewed by the business administrator. And when asked if it was renewed, we were told no, it was not renewed. Basically meaning there is zero active deal in place. That whole thing is not going. So that was just a big fluff thing to be able to run that event, saying the business meeting, look at this big thing coming, a big announcement from the mayor's office. And then having a video done and paying for a video to be done about the whole thing. And look how great it's in. It's on the channel now. But then the deal completely fell apart because we didn't renew it. For what reason? Was it not renewed because of the things that the public has now called out about the whole way things were done? Or is it never intended to actually be done? It was just hey, let's put a big campaign piece together. Let's sneak out an RFP. Let's have them go respond to it. Let's put this together. Let's pay a consultant to go do all these renderings and this whole big thing. And that's the stuff I'm getting on a whole thing here, but
no, I mean, look, it's as simple as, to me, it's as simple as like the stupid recycling commercials that happen every year, right in the fall not every year, right in the fall on election years, which are every other year. There's all of a sudden it's like, oh, the last one, Orlando was up.
Look how happy Orlando is throwing away recycles in the can.
And it's him and Dave Mayer talking about recycling. And then I'm sure this year there'll be a new version of it. It's gonna be Dave, and he's gonna be using, I don't know if it's grant money or taxpayer money, but it's still money that is not part of his campaign that puts him on TV, and you're like, oh, there's the mayor. Oh, that's we gotta go vote for that guy. So it's just. It's that, and then like I just heard about a thing. It's going to happen right before Election Day. It's like a big thing that's happening with like seniors, and it's like a couple days before Election Day.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're referring to.
Somebody had mentioned some kind of senior thing that is happening, and it's like, what's Election Day this year? Is it like the 5th?
I believe it's the 5th. Yeah.
It's like November 2nd or something. It's like a big senior thing that's happening.
But the Shred Day was pushed back to be after.
This was some kind of. This was because I had been talking to somebody and saying, look, and because the same person was telling me about how great that it is being on this committee and stuff like that, and just talking about some shady stuff, and I'm like, look, we've never done as much for seniors and veterans as we have the year that he needs to get elected now, and it's obvious to me. It was obvious to them too, and they said, "Yeah, there is a thing coming up too, right before Election Day for seniors." And I thought, well, of
course there is.
Just come out of you got to come out of nowhere with these events, and man, I'm sure there's going to be spaghetti dinners too, right around the same time that like mail-in ballots come out. It's what happens.
There's a playbook, right?
There is a playbook. The playbook works so well. The playbook works so well. If you want to hear more about the playbook too, you got to subscribe to this podcast.
Yeah.
And share it. Share it out with the folks you know. And I don't know, man. I was just trying to think, like, what happens past Election Day if it's all the same stuff over and over again? Like, what are we going to do then?
Shut it down. No, we're not losing the faith. Just keep forming, you guys. But for now, just subscribe, share it out, and let's wrap it up.
If not the day after, get on Marketplace. All this shit's for sale.
That's how I am after Golf League every Tuesday. I'm like, all right, I'll be back next week if my clubs don't sell. So, all right, folks, we will see y'all soon.
We'll see y'all probably in a week or two.
All right, take care.